Walt Disney once said, "All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." I hope that by the end of the speech that all of us will be able to strive and work harder to pursue our dreams and goals that we want. I will be speaking about Walt Disney's early life, his inspired work, including his famous work being the Mickey Mouse franchise. I will first be speaking about the childhood of Walt Disney. Walter Disney, well, he wants to go by Walt, was born December 5th, 1901. He was one of 5 children, 4 which were boys and a girl. He and his family lived most of his childhood in Missouri. However, he attended high school in Chicago. There he began to take art classes at the school while taking night classes at Chicago Art Institute. Even though he began pursuing his dream in high school, it really started when he was a little kid. As a child, he began a strong love for drawing and painting, and even sold his work to family, neighbors, and friends. Like any child, he did have his fears, and his greatest phobia was of mice. Pretty ironic. Now that we have obtained a better view of Walter's childhood, let's move on to his inspired works. In 1990, Walter moved to Kansas City to pursue a career as a newspaper artist. From there, Walter worked at a Kansas City film ad company where he made commercials based on cutout animation. Walter soon began experimenting with camera and hand-down cell animation and decided to open his own animation company. Soon, him and his brother Roy, the co-founder of Walt Disney Productions, coined their money together and moved to Hollywood and carried on the company there. Their first deal was with Margaret Winkler, in which they were to distribute their Alice cartoons. They also invented a cartoon character named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and contracted the shots for $1,500 each. However, when Disney and Roy broke off from partnership from Winkler, they began to have more success. On December 21st, 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the first full film animation, which was premiered in Los Angeles. It produced $1.5 million and won a total of 8 Oscars. During the next 5 years, Walt Disney Studios completed a string of full-length animation films, such as Pinocchio, Anastasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. However, this was not the only thing that Disney was successful at. He was the founder of the amusement park, Disneyland, and Walt Disney World. Disney was also the main voice of the character Mickey Mouse in the first films. He personally won 22 academic awards in his lifetime. Walt Disney says, "It is kind of fun to do the impossible." Now that we see some of the works that Walt Disney gave us, let's talk about the starting point of everything, which was Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney said, "He popped into my mind onto a drawing pad on a train from Manhattan to Hollywood at the time of business, where fortunes of my brother and myself were at the lowest ebb, and disaster seemed right around the corner." The disaster in which Disney is talking about was the brazen theft of the cartoon Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, we discussed about earlier, by Charles Meents and his wife Margaret Winkler. This was a turning point for Disney, and he knew he had to come up with a new character fast. Disney's daughter said, "It was a long train ride where my dad conceived a new cartoon subject, a mouse who was later refined by U.B. Irinks and was named by my mother." The first animation of Mickey Mouse, which was Plain Crazy, was filmed in Hollywood on May 15, 1928, in the form of test screening, but it failed to obtain distribution. The second film, Galopping Gaucho, was sadly also had the same fate. However, the third time was a charm. This film was Steamboat Willie. It premiered on November 1928 in the New York Colonial Theater. That was not only the start of Mickey Mouse, but also the Walt Disney Production, which is one of the best-known motion picture production companies that still stands today. Now we should be able to understand the contribution that Walt Disney had to animation picture productions and where some of his thoughts originated from. Like Walt Disney says, "If you can dream it, you can do it." Always remember this whole thing started with a mouse. Are there any questions? Yes, Emery?
How many kids did he have?
He had 2 daughters. The others?
relatives that were active in the business part of it, other than Roy?
Not that I could see. It just said that he was the co-founder and they pretty much worked together.
So I thought Steamboat Willie was the first one, but there was two before that. Do they
Yeah.
still have copies of that people can see, or
I'm not sure. It just said that they failed, so I don't know if they.
could have been trashed?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
I don't know. Just Steamboat Willie was the first one that actually premiered for people.
And I didn't know Snow White was the first animation. That's interesting.
Yeah, the full length one.
Yeah.
So.